What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to actually be jumping into New World. This game is currently on early alpha preview. This game will be coming out in spring of 21, but I want to give you guys a quick look where we kind of play the game and I talk about some of the fundamentals. So we'll go for the tutorial area and I'll show you guys sort of the beginning section, and then eventually I'll show you my character so we can get into the deep nitty-gritty of the stuff, so you can decide if you want to buy this game when it comes out or if it's not for you. So without further ado, let's dive in, guys.
Have you witnessed their power? I have. We've all heard the legends. Every child has heard the legends of the cursed sea. The stories of ships vanishing without a trace. How many have been lost over the years? Dismissed as fantasy. The nobles, the church. They all knew the truth. Something out there was growing. Something terrible. The threat grows once more as the bourgeoisie slumber. Your ship is stocked and your crew assembled. We can pretend no longer. Left unchecked, the veil will surely fall, and all will be lost to madness and ruin. This corruption must be stopped.
Alright, now we jump into character creation here. So we have a variety of different things here. You have male and female, and you've got face shape. So face shape, it does change like the color of your skin, weirdly enough on this, but you can actually change the colors to whatever you want later on. So, you know, even though this one's black, you don't have to be black. You can actually be white if you really wanted to. There's tons of hairstyles. I do wish that they would add a little bit more character customization into it, though, because, I mean, yeah, this is kind of like the basics, but there could have been a little bit more that they could do with this. But yeah, you have all different types of wonky colors you can do, too. So, like, if you want to be Greenbeard the Great, you can. I mean, look at this guy. This guy looks like a head of broccoli. He's ready for the fight. But in general, you don't actually have to, you know, do a lot of the crazy hairstyles. You can do whatever you really like. So with this character looks pretty good. Let's jump in and let's actually get into the tutorial and play the game. Now we actually get to jump into the actual mechanics of the game. So you kind of wake up ship washed on the shore, and we are jumping in now. So WSD keys to move. Obviously the graphics look amazing, and keep in mind this is on low. It actually looks a lot better on high. However, once again, has some weird optimization issues, especially in the towns once there's a lot of people. So it might be servers, might be the actual game. Get our first opponent. I really like the way that they teach you how to play sort of in the tutorial here. It's you draw your weapon, you block, right click, you do a left click to do an attack. You can do dodge rolls depending on how heavy of armor you have, and heavy attack. Boom. Easy, easy, easy win. Now we can talk to Captain Forp here. You know, he basically just talks about the corruption, so, like it's kind of the red glowiness on them. It's kind of like this evil phantasma that just kind of takes over a lot of the area here. And then, of course, you get to pick up loot. Loot is one of the biggest things here. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't be like a pirate adventurer if you didn't. So we go ahead and eat our food. There's also survival elements such as eating food. As you fight a lot more people and sort of things out there, you kind of need to eat some food along the way. Now, I did kind of explore a lot of this area, and usually exploration isn't rewarded in this game, but in the tutorial, just worry about just kind of going through the motions and getting it over with. There's not many hidden chests or anything here, so... Alright, we'll jump into our first thing. So, like I said, we have heavy attacks, light attacks, and then we have our block. We have our block, and you can also do rolls. So, and as you can see, he had like that kind of glow there, and that's how you know when they're about to attack. Not all enemies have that. Some enemies have different attack patterns, and the game does get harder later on. It just takes a while. Roughly when you hit about level 20, that's when a lot of the AI gets a little bit tougher, and you actually have to like think before you attack. So, as you can see here, if we wait for this guy to do his glowy attack, yeah. So there's like a slight glow when he does it, and then there's that attack, boop, and there you go. Heavy attacks oftentimes disrupt them in the middle of their animations, or it breaks shields, so we'll see that later on as we go forward. And then we'll go ahead and take this guy down here. I prefer, honestly, just the fast attack method of just, you know, just swinging rapidly and everything. You can also climb over things, which is kind of nice. So if you just hold Shift and W, it'll do it. But also, which is really nice, is if you use your sort of auto run ability, it automatically does it for you. You don't have to worry about hitting the space bar or anything. You can also do crouch, which allows you to crouch under things, which it only really affects you in PvP because it makes it to where you're less visible. It seems not that important, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's garbage. But if you are a musket build and you crouch and you hide like in some foliage and you actually do the shots, you can actually screw somebody's day over, especially if they're a melee guy, and just, you know, you can get like a couple of extra shots on them. You can also go prone, which I believe is Z. Yep. Which you don't really use all that often, but you can also sprint while crouching, which is really nice. And now we deal with our first shield-based enemy. So shield-based enemies, they'll block, and as you can see, they block all your attacks, and they are a huge pain. So what you have to do is you have to do like kind of a thrust attack. Otherwise, you won't be able to break it. And there you have it. He is down. Now, there are no classes in this game. You actually do it based off of your weapon skill and your level. So what level does is it affects basically where you can put your stats like strength, constitution, dex, etc., etc. And then you have your weapon skills, which are its own unique talent points with 2 different trees depending on what you want to do. Now, you can go down all the way down one tree and not the other. But you can also do a mixed match of different things. So you can have like some points in shield and then some points in sword, all that stuff. For this one, we're going to be going with this ability here. But this allows you to have a lot of character depth because you can work on things like improving your sword damage, or you can have it to where you're more focused on like being a tanky guy. It really all depends on that. Now later on, you'll be able to unlock additional weapons and things as well. So there's tons of potential of things that you can do, especially out there, as you kind of go on. Now, the actual auto run button was something weird, like equal or whatever. I ended up changing it to numlock, which you can actually do in the settings, which is very nice. So, and now we'll just get over to this ridge here, and we are looking at the in-game zone. So, that mountain over there, that is actually the final zone. That's where you fight the Spriggan in the Spriggan Arena. It's where it drops a lot of really good loot. That's also where some of the general bosses spawn from the sort of portal events that happen around it in the world. So, now we'll jump on down here, and we get to see a familiar face. If you guys remember seeing the cutscene, you've got good old Captain Forp down here. So, let us jump in and get into our combat, shall we? So he is corrupted by the corruption. Some lore characters, you'll notice, like, they'll get corrupted by the corruption, and they end up turning into, like, almost bosses of themselves. So, important thing, I don't really know fully the whole lore because, you know, it's been kind of the alpha. There hasn't been much time to really get things out of the way. But basically, this guy has a lot more like AoE based attacks. He does different like sort of swings. He gets harder, especially later on. So as you can see here, I have a burning status effect. He does like a good chase and everything after me. And let's see if he'll do the other attack that he usually does. This is like obviously the beginning boss. Yep, there you go. He does like a jump AoE. So as you can see, the AI does get a little bit smarter. This is just like a level 1 boss, so they're trying to make it a little bit easier for you. And we're just gonna try our best just that. Now you'll notice sometimes the collision isn't as good as like some games. Like it looks like I'm like practically slashing them and still not hitting them. But in the end, we'll still get it. Boop. And cutscene. Like I said, man, the cutscenes in this game, so good. So good. And now we jump actually into the tutorial-based island here. So this is where the game actually starts picking up, a lot of things start happening, and basically where we design our character really quick. So, now that we've got the tutorial out of the way, this is where the game really opens up and a lot of the potential and a lot of the themes kind of go out within it. Now keep in mind this is alpha, so some things are going to change, some things are probably going to improve, and some things are going to be a lot better, especially the server stability. The server stability has been kind of all over the place lately. But so far, I gotta say, it's a pretty solid game. I was relatively impressed, especially with it coming out during this time period. So now we've officially loaded into the game. If you notice, there's like no players at the moment. That is because a lot of the sort of big game events that are happening are everybody's kind of rallying to the final like area because they really want to kind of like get over there and just kind of like get to the end of the game and see what the game has really to offer. So the community has like really been trying to push on that. So we're just kind of all alone out here in the world, but you know, it is what it is. And this is basically where you do your tutorial. This is where you do a lot of your quests. You pick up like a lot of your inventory and things out there for you to sort of wear. So for here, we just now leveled up. So this is where we get to put our points in. So our attribute points are probably the stat that matters most for the different types of weapons that we have. So allow me to explain what a lot of these stats do. Strength increases basically most of your melee-based weapons. There are some melee-based weapons that scale a little bit better with dexterity, such as hatchets, and pretty much, honestly, hatchets are the only thing at the moment. Eventually, there's going to be more weapon skills. So as you can see, there's only like one two-hander. There's only like these two one-handers and magic staffs and everything. But strength basically really affects the warhammer, the straight sword, and sort of a little bit of the melee of the hatchet, the bow, and the musket. Just basically the melee hitting of those. But dexterity increases just a little bit of both. So as you can see here, it increases 84, but it increases to 87 here. So it doesn't actually affect the sword that much, but with like things like the hatchet and stuff, it'll increase that tiny amount. In this case, also, dexterity is more about your range-based weapons, but it also increases your melee of certain weapons, like the hatchet, a good amount as well. And the reason for that is when things get up close and personal and start attacking you, you do kind of need to switch to melee or find a way to roll back and be able to hit your targets. So that's why dexterity also increases your melee a little bit. Intelligence increases magical-based attacks, so your fire staff and your light staff. The thing is, it really helps out, especially with the fire blast and like flamethrower abilities and meteor showers. It really helps out with those basic attacks. Magic is one of the most powerful things in the game, but it's also one of the hardest playstyles to deal with, especially because you got to keep yourself alive most of the time. So, really depends on how you want to build your character there. Now, focus is one that is a stat that's kind of an underdog stat that a lot of people aren't using, but don't realize its full potential. It allows you to have a lot of mana regen, which is great for, you know, magic-based stuff, but it also reduces ability cooldown. One of the worst things to deal with is ability cooldown, so when I use this, I have to wait 19 seconds to use it again. However, if I keep putting points into this, it'll decrease it by 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, and eventually you can get it down to like where a 22-second base ability is only like 10 seconds, and that is awesome. Just being able to spam that ability over and over and over again, it gives you a lot of potential of a lot of your most powerful moves. And then obviously Constitution just increases your main life. You also got trade skills. These are your crafting skills. We'll look a little bit more on that later. There are treasure chests. These are supply caches. They are found throughout the area, so exploration is always rewarded because you can find loot like this, where now I have gloves. I actually have more armor now, so I won't be hit as hard. You'll also find random books and things that give you lore, but it also gives you a tiny bit of XP as well. So we're going to adventure off into this next area over here, and I'm going to show you real quick as I pick up some flint. So this is like random stuff that you can find out in the wild. So there's all types of ingredients and things that you can use to really get the full potential here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kick this guy's butt real quick. Oh, looks like he's glitched. Like I said, alpha. There are some issues with the game. Boop, boop, boom. There we go. Then we'll go over to the next boss here. Very easy. Like I said in the beginning, they're kind of brain dead. I'm not even really trying to focus on dodging because I'd rather just get this out of the way. Start showing you guys some of the nitty gritty. So, look at that. Boom. Got 3 guys dead. Now, I am going to try to see if we can find ourselves a hidden chest somewhere. Which, right here. Bam. Like I said, exploring the wilds is always good. Supply caches are always worth it because they give you a lot of materials and stuff, and it keeps you from having to go out in the wild constantly exploring. And as you can see as well, it also helps you with leveling up, just killing things over and over again. Faction quests and killing things is probably some of the best stuff. Running back to turn-in quests, not so much. So as you can see here, we're still good. Now, one of the things that you can do is if you look here, you can do an S-click. S-click gives you materials. So this is like a really easy way of getting some quick materials, especially going forward. So just something to keep in mind, especially as you go forward. It doesn't really matter where my points are. This character is pretty much just a throwaway character anyway. But now we can actually go back and show you guys some crafting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some flint, and we can actually start crafting something with all this flint that we are doing. Now there's other things out there in the wild that you can pick up. There's herbs that you can pick up for potions. There's wood crafting, jewel crafting. I mean, as you can see here, there's tons of trading skills. And the thing that I like is that there's so many to the point that you can't do them all. I mean, you can be a mad lad and do them all, but you can't do them all. Now we got our bow here, and he wants us to craft some wood, or he wants to get some wood real quick. So we're gonna walk on over here and see if we can't grab some wood from these bushes. So grab some bushes, and perfect. There we go. So, all the wood we can ever need, and now we get to go craft ourselves a skinning knife to get ourselves some leather. As you can see, you can also do some mining. You can do this for picking up different herbs and cloth, and then you can use the logging axe to get wood in more abundance. So, and depending on the quality of your items, you'll be able to do different things. So, right now we have to go hunt down a boar. And we'll also go use our bow, too, to help do that. Well, and we'll increase the dexterity just so we can show you the bows and everything. So, now bows and sort of range-based abilities, they do require arrows, which is kind of a pain. But they can shoot really, really far. So you kind of right-click to aim, and then you just hold it like a bow. And I accidentally killed the thing next to it, but as you can see here, not doing much damage. But if you do headshots, it does way more damage. And like I said, though, when they get up in your face, it kind of makes it hard, but you can actually, well, I wasn't able to do it, but yeah, you can actually hit them with your bow. So, now we loot the bad boy and we skin them, and this is how we'll be able to get a lot of our leather to be able to craft stuff. So, as you can see, though, the gathering skill takes a good while. As you get better tools, you'll be able to make the timer a little bit faster. Like I know that the next one increases the speed by like 120%, and then eventually you can also, as you do quests and things within areas, you'll get sort of territory standing, and territory standing makes it to where you can do, like, you'll get different bonuses based off of like what you do in the world. So like you'll get to choose between more XP, more gathering skill, or getting more standing, which allows you to get standing faster, or eventually be able to own a territory, or own a house in a territory. So that's kind of like a quick look at that. Let's actually jump over to my higher level character, and I'll be able to show you guys more stuff from there. Alright, so now we are actually in my higher level character. He's not too high, he's only like level 27, but this is where the real meat and potatoes of the game actually happen. So as you can see, there's constantly wars going on, there's different things and different battles, all kind of going in all over the place. But this is called a settlement or a sanctuary. When you log off of sanctuaries, you'll be able to get bonus XP, and this is kind of like the town hub. This is where you get a lot of all of your stuff going on here. You have places like the auction house here, the trading post as they call it, and you'll be able to buy different materials and things depending on what you need. You know, people will sell all different types of things like weapons. So, as you can see here, there's tons and tons of weapons. I want to see if there's any really cool legendary stuff. Yeah, and you got like different like rare stuff, ancient bow here, all types of cool stuff here. Also on top of it, you'll have inns, which are kind of like work like Hearthstones or most things in most inns in most games. You'll be able to lock yourself into one, like I have the original settlement here, so I can be able to recall here. You can also get a fast travel system. You won't be able to really unlock the Azoth as it drops off of higher level mobs and things later on, but Azoth's also used to upgrade sort of the armor that you craft, so we'll look into that later on. As you can see, there's also tons and tons of quests. I mean, once you kind of explore the world is huge. But as you start going more north, that's when things start getting harder and harder. As you can see here, like it's level 35 to do some of the monoliths and stuff, some of the different rifts. These are random events that happen where basically these portals open up all over the place, and there's usually like a few harder creatures in there. And then the bigger ones have a mini boss on there. So Captain Forp shows up on occasion. There's this one girl that shows up, and also later on there's some big scary monsters that show up as well. Sometimes even a corrupted grizzly. But like I said, as you kind of go up more and more, it gets harder and harder. And then you get to these three zones, which are not able to be captured. These are outposts. These are meant for characters to go in and kind of fight back against the very scary like darkness there. So as you can see, it's level 65. I've also heard that there's even like harder things out there that are like the Spriggan, which you have to in order to go to, you have to like have like a certain key that you have to craft. So tons and tons of potential there. So just showing you guys kind of some of the future content that's out there as well. So let us first go over here to the storage well. So one of the things that's really nice about this game is you have a lot of materials, and as you can see up here at the very top, there is an inventory cap. Very annoying to deal with, right? But the game's very nice, and it also provides you with a storage shed. The storage shed holds a crap ton of stuff. Like as you can see, this is where I just kind of dump a lot of my materials and a lot of my things out there, and that's how I'm able to craft a lot of the stuff I need to. So I'm going to grab a lot of my rawhide there, and we'll see if we can't make that into leather, and we'll grab some of that as well. So, but yeah, the storage is really nice. You'll also be able to make bags as well. These bags you'll get at 30 and 45 as well, and they'll be able to increase your weight just a little bit more, so that way you're not there. Another thing that's really important to keep in mind is this meter here. With all of my gear, I have equipment loads. Depending on how the equipment loads are, determines how my dodge rolls are. When I'm over encumbered, when I'm carrying too much loot, I will not be able to walk fast. I won't even be able to use our abilities. If I'm heavy, I kind of fat roll like in Dark Souls almost. And when I'm like normal or light, I can just roll everywhere. So that's kind of how that works. So what we are going to do, though, is we are going to do some crafting. So I'll show you guys this. Kitchen is one of the least used stuff in the game, but I think it's one of the most important. You basically get it from a lot of your all meats. And basically, you just kind of like craft and everything just to try to level up your crafting skills so you'll be able to get a lot of better cooking stuff. You kind of have like your first tier, and then eventually you'll get your second tier, but in order to do that, you have to get like, you know, the certain cooking skill tier, and the actual kitchen has to be of the tier. Cities actually upgrade based off of a variety of different things. The biggest thing that upgrades it is the town projects. So over by the mayor's office, there is a board here, which I can show you guys if I climb up here. So over here is the town board. This is a board of different projects and everything to help upgrade the workshop. There's also things to upgrade the fort. However, that's mainly for the people that own the place. I'm not going to help out the marauders if I work for the syndicate, you know? So, and then they also have prepare for war. So if they're about to go to war with something, there's a PvE event that you actually do want to help them prepare for war. But if they're going to war with another faction such as mine, I'm not going to help them prepare for war. I'm going to prepare for war for my faction. Also, improved lifestyle. There's different taxes and things going on within certain different settlements. So, you know, you got here where you can see all the different taxes. The trading tax here is very high, but everything else is pretty low. So that's kind of that. You also got the war board. This is for when you are going to war. So say like this place is going to war, I can actually help out with the invasion. I could help out with the invasion. Now, problem is the people that are in charge of it, like the higher level people or the faction that owns the place or the factions that are going to war with the thing, they can determine if you want to join. If you are not higher level, they're probably going to kick you from the group. It's just realistically how it ends up going. Now, if I go over here, as you can see, there's a green symbol, a yellow symbol, and a purple symbol. These are the factions in the game, and factions are kind of the bread and butter of this game. They are one of the main things because PvP is obviously rampant. They're also one of the fastest ways to level. They're one of the best ways to get gear fast if you rather than just hoping for RNG and random drops to help you aside. So these guys are the main ways to level. I remember I was trying to run around, do the questing, trying to do crafting, trying to kill high level mobs. Just keep doing these quests. Like, if you have these quests, just keep doing them and doing them and doing them. And as you can see here, there's tons and tons of them. There's PvP missions, which you have to have your PvP on, which we'll talk about that in a hot second. And then you have your PvE missions that give you a little bit less reward. PvP missions are always hard because all the factions, they send them all to the same areas. So that makes PvP kind of happen. There's not much of a reward from PvP, but you do get a little bit of a gold bonus based off of how many times you kill people and ruin their plans. But yeah, so basically, you join a faction, and then once you join a faction, you can have like guilds within those factions that you can help out with and everything. So like this used to be owned by the yellow faction, which the yellow faction has been completely erased from the board. And the marauders here, they have like 5 different guilds named Invictus that are taking over the place like a plague. So these factions have strong control over it. The marauders own this stuff, so they get a lot of different bonuses, like maybe a lower tax rate or something for their members because of the improved lifestyle thing. However, if I run off to these sections, I am in the clear. I can actually probably get a lot more bonuses. I can help protect these forts because, you know, maybe I really want to have these forts be protected because I want the lower tax rate. Compared to places like here where I could get like a really high tax rate that could completely screw me over. So, luckily, most of the things on my server seems to be pretty calm at the moment. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind, especially going forward. Now, let's talk about the actual things that you can buy with these points here. So, as you buy points, you have to buy the tier first. This is a good way of grinding yourself up, and it usually has like a level requirement. Now, this number looks like a giant number. It's really not. Honestly, you just do about 4 of these missions, and you just kind of like hide in a corner, or you like quickly run around and do this quest and run the hell out of there and turn them in. And you could probably get most of the stuff you want. Now, one of the things that you can do too is you can accept a quest and then you can cancel it. And then there's this timer up here on the top right. the 2 minutes. So if I wait within 2 minutes, I will get completely new quests that isn't those quests at all. And that's a good way of also being able to pick the quest that you want. If you really hate this one area and this a-hole just keeps camping you over and over and over again, you don't have to deal with that. You can actually just say, screw that, I'm not going back there, and you can keep respawning the quest until you get something that you actually like. So this is all the different gear. You can buy different gear here. This gear is not that good for me. I'm level 27, so I'm about to like tier out of this gear personally. But there are some different things in here that are relatively decent and everything. But once you get to like level 30, that's when you'll be able to buy the higher tiers and start wearing the higher tier armor. Alright, so let's talk about the final aspects as well. You've got PvP. So when you have a PvP based quest, you will have to have PvP on in order to be able to do it. However, if you do not have a PvP mission on, you can actually have PvP turned off. You just hit the U button and it'll either be the cross swords or it'll be not cross swords, depending on what you have. So this little section right here is pretty much how that goes. So now that we have PvP on, we also get 10% more XP as we go into the world. And as we get far away from the settlement, you'll see a timer that starts to begin. So I just got to go a little bit farther. As you can see, the PvP protection timer, this is to prevent you from getting camped right outside of the city and having like a giant like sort of army sitting out there and just killing anybody that comes out of there. So that's kind of like something that's kind of nice as well. Now I do want to show you guys a little bit of sort of what a character looks like when they have like a bunch of sort of stats and stuff. So my musket, I'm pretty much really high in my trapper thing. The trapper tree I didn't expect to like, but I absolutely love it. There's also different combinations of things that you can do. So we're just going to kind of march on forward here, and I'm going to see if I can't find ourselves some enemies here. So I just really want to show you guys the musket build because I absolutely love this build. So, alright, I see some enemies here. So what I'm doing is I toss my trap in front of me, and I'll toss another trap that way, just depending on which way they go. And I'm going to give a headshot. I obviously do a lot more damage, and then I also have a bomb. So I can just sit here and wait for this guy to die. So, really awesome there. Now these guys are a little bit lower level, so I can just kill these with ease pretty much. But some of the higher level enemies, you kind of have to like think this tactically out. And as you can see here, I'm just going to boop. Put that on the ground there. There you go. And there you have it. So, all types of really fun combinations that you can really do in New World. So, but anyways, guys, I hope you guys do enjoy this quick look at New World. There's obviously a lot more potential with this game, but at the moment, it's still kind of a preview alpha. It has like the bare bones going through, but I hope you do enjoy. Be sure to like and drop a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about New World. Is it going to live up to the hype? Do you think it's actually worth playing? So, it has potential. There's a whole year of development, so I'm sure that they'll be able to do some really awesome things with that. But like I said, subscribe. Let's try to get up to a 1.6K, and I will see you guys next time.